Friends, family, fans, we've got the screen up. We don't need that up. We're going to talk a bit of golf first. Got my man DB from the Tour Junkies in the house. We got episode 14 of Back Nine Bets with guests. We're going to have ourselves a wonderful day. DB and I are both wearing the shades because we had a good time going into the new year. So DB, talk to me, buddy. How are you feeling today?
I feel like, was it Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover with the baby on my chest, and I'm just like barely making it. I'm barely alive.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. You just said it before we started. The Monday of the Sentry being New Year's Day is the worst. It is the worst. Why? Can we get that right next year, Tour? Can we just not have an event until the second week of January?
Yes. There's absolutely no need for us hardworking content grinders to function and prep and plan and edit and tinker on 3 hours of sleep with 30 keystones in the system. You know, like that's it's not how it works. We had some Aunt Didi's apple pie in the house last night. She makes a killer Everclear vodka apple pie that my wife's been copying, and it goes down like trees and it hurts the next day. But that day it is delightful. So,
buddy,
I know it's the nectar of the gods, but you know the devil's piss at the same time.
That's the young man's game, buddy. That's the young. I'm 40 now. I'm transitioning to being an older person, and I spent my New Year's very differently, but I'm equally as banged up as you are right now.
Yes. I have had the beauty of having to celebrate my 32nd birthday on the 30th. So I've been partying for 3 days straight.
On the 30th of December?
The 30th of December, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Yeah, 32. So,
December, baby. Shout out. God dang, 32. You're just a pup. You're just a pup. I started Tour Junkies when I was 32, basically.
Hey, baby.
33.
Hey. Yeah. So, isn't that what a great time to say? So you started Tour Junkies when you're 32. And guess what, people? I'm kind of making my way downtown into the Tour Junkies land. That's why DB's on. I'll be joining the Tour Junkies Discord. I'll be in there hopping on podcasts with you guys more regularly, just kind of doing a bit more collaborative stuff. We love each other's company, and I'm very excited to be working alongside you guys this year, Deep. So tell people a little bit more there.
Yeah, we are too. I just got done. Me and Pat just got done recording our shows tonight. We talked it up on both shows, talking about how you're in the Discord, and we appropriately named it because the squirrel theme. So nuts is a thing, but Nut Hut is literally the best name for that place because it is banana land in there, and it's only December now, January. You hopped in December, it gets even weirder the more people start flooding in there as the season starts firing up again. But you have quickly assimilated yourself, which may say something about you. But that's why we love you, and that's why the people that listen to your show and watch Back Nine Bets love you, because you're hilarious, and you quickly integrated yourself into the Discord, and you're already a big hit. So, loving the content that you're providing in the Discord, and definitely going to have you on the show. We've already got you slated for what show? What show are you coming on? Amex.
Amex. Yeah.
Amex. Have you coming on our Pebble show? You're going to be doing some Wednesday night Discord chats with us. We're going to have you coming on some other show. It's going to be a good time, man. We love what you're doing, and you're working hard, man. A lot of people, to do the graphics and the models and the shows it's a lot of work.
I know. It's like I was saying to you before, we got another little rotoballer show that me and Spencer will be doing here at 9 Eastern and 9:30 Eastern. Been doing that stuff, and it's on New Year's Day. So it's just been chaos. It's been fun, but we're going to get into it here. As always, a show brought to you by my boys at rotoballer.com, PGA. Use code MANIAC for 10% off any of your subscription needs over there. We've got it all. Go check out Spencer's models, all that jazz. Joe, DB, sorry, we got Joe's, we got DB's, I've got all sorts of people going on here. We're going to chat about your process, just a little bit about what do you do every day before the tournament starts on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even a Sunday? What do you get up to? What can you give the people, not giving away trade secrets, but something that's going to maybe change their life a little bit, kind of a little tip or trick or some stuff that you find essential to your success as a golf bettor and DFS player?
Listen, dude, me and Pat, if people think this way, then somehow we fooled them because we've never really sent the message. We are not professionals at this. Okay. I'm not a professional golf bettor or DFS player. When DFS first rolled out in 2015, we were way more successful at it back then. It's so much harder now. It's still fun. I'd still love doing it, but we are not experts at this. We work hard at it and we research the crap out of it. And we do know a lot of caddies and players and coaches and a lot of information. And so I think we're better than most. And but we are far from professionals, and it's hard. Golf is hard.
I'll tell you what, though, you guys are professional entertainers. There's no doubt about that.
That's what we want to try to do.
That's where you can control how entertaining you are every single time you jump on the camera. You can't control an Eric Cole back nine on a Sunday. You know, it's just, you can't do that.
Yeah, I can't control Ricky, just crapping down his leg at the U.S. Open and pissing in my Cheerios.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what we are. That's what I feel like we're best at. But I think over the years, it's cumulative knowledge that we've gained for doing this as long as we have about the golf courses and about kind of what. Shout out Ryan! I know Ryan Fantasy Bunker.
Ryan Fantasy Bunker. Dave telling a fellow Dave, you look not a day over 39.
Thanks, Dave.
Lots of good compliments coming in.
Well, it's because I have the glasses on and a hat. I look like I'm in a masquerade situation. Put my hoodie on. I look like I'm at a poker table.
Just waiting for you to go Eminem on me. Yeah.
So it's just cumulative stuff, right? Like lessons learned over the years. And a lot of it is some of our caddy friends and like learning golf courses and what actually matters at times, what actually doesn't matter at times, what's just something that we all talk about that doesn't actually matter. Yeah. And I think too, just accepting, I think that's what 2023 really taught people is accepting that I feel like sometimes in the golf bubble community that we're in, you can be like really guilted or not maybe not guilted, but your viewpoint on a guy or a tournament can really be shaped subconsciously without you even knowing it. If you spend an hour on X or Twitter, whatever, right? Yes. Because you see all these takes and everybody has a show and there's articles everywhere. And you start to go, oh yeah, there's no way Lucas Glover could win back-to-back weeks. It's not going to happen. You're an idiot if you think that. You are an idiot. You are stupid if you think that's going to happen. And then you end up not betting it when truthfully you're like, I think, why couldn't he? Why couldn't he? And then, so you just learn that like golf is just hard and it's random and it's not, I used to say this back in the day when Antonio Brown was relevant playing football. Like every week you knew Antonio Brown was going to have 5 catches for 80 yards when he was with the Steelers. Every week you just knew that was going to happen. You could count on it. It's like a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. There is nothing that you can count on in golf. Nothing. With any player. So just accepting that and then realizing like weird stuff happens. You know what I mean? And not being so wrapped up in feeling like I'm going with the flow of what everybody else is saying or doing. And Pat probably does a better job of that than me. Like he loves being the contrarian, but golf's just a weird game, man. So I don't think that probably helps anybody, but that's
no, I think that's the thing. It's like you got to find your strengths and weaknesses and kind of understand. Are you a guy that hits the chalk? Are you a guy that's kind of like that golf tips chart that comes out every week, and you see, okay, that fraction of the pie is just a jam-packed. That number's gone from 70 to 40, in the space of a day or two. Those are the kind of golfers that some people absolutely thrive. Their bankroll gets built on that. Some people, for me, I feel like I'm always like Pat. For some reason, I just want to be different. I want to be goofy. And sometimes that leads me down the wrong road. You're on a road listening to your own music, but it's going to a place that nobody wants to be. And I think, sometimes you just got to decide, okay, it's time to kind of change the channel, change the thing, and off you go. And kind of, it's okay to be square. If it makes the golf betting community is so freaking sharp, DB.
Oh, dude,
you know what's going on.
Sharp.
The amount of people that hit winners, even long shots and shit, it's nonstop success out there. And, someone's always going to hit a winner on Twitter. And it's just how it goes.
The last outright I hit was EVR at the Worldwide Technology at 80 to 1, 90 to 1. I do a show, I do a show sometimes with my like NFL, like hardcore NFL buddy at SoBet. Yeah. And, if you tell a guy who doesn't bet golf, oh man, I talked up this guy 80 to 1 and he hit, and then so did 9 other guys on Twitter.
Me
He'd be
as
like,
well. Yeah.
"What? Are
Yeah.
you insane? Who hit it?"
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of somebody doing that for some 80-1 NFL parlay or something? Like, it just doesn't happen. But you're right.
Yes.
It's the
Yes,
community has
dude.
gotten so much sharper over the years. You see so many more bets hit. People winning together, which is fine. Like, we're all, I've started to drift more towards the betting side than prop side than DFS, because it does feel like at least we can win together. Like we can all kind of beat the books together.
Yes.
It's fun. There's fun
Yes.
in that.
That's the best part is, those community wins. And then when you're sitting on the sideline, I've been there many a time as well. When you just, you just
when the chalk hits and you are
SpongeBob and you're just sitting there with the coffee just steaming, or that Al Capone or Narcos guy that's just sitting on his like bench, just like completely blued out, and there's like nothing good going on for him, And I've been there, but at the same time you learn your lessons. They're tough lessons to learn, but the toughest ones are the best ones, right? So we did our thing. And the reason I bet EVR rugby team had just won the World Cup, so he was vibing.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
That's the reason. And he was playing some good, good approach stuff.
Yeah. Beautiful reason to do that.
Yeah. That's the silly part about it all. And
it is. It really is. If there's a sport where your wife or your spouse could pick a better season-long outright, like hit more outrights than you for whatever reason, it's golf.
Yes.
That's just how it is.
Well, yeah, it's a name. Oh, I've seen that guy on TV.
Oh, he's cute. Yeah. I'll put him on the card.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this is the thing. Like, we try and become good at this thing that is one of the most variable situations in the whole wide world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you can't control any of that stuff. So I typically try and lean in. Like 80% of my bankroll is associated with like props and top 20s and top 10s and matchups. Like those are my jam. I know those are a lot easier to control, even though, like there's guys that just poop it down their leg on a Sunday to slip outside the top 40, like some of them just don't have it. So like, that's the way I try and manage it and kind of float the outright side of things with that and go from there. But even then it can be tricky, especially new seasons. You want to chat about like, how do you approach a new season when we've had 6 weeks off? Like, has Tony been with his kids and family? I bet him this week. But has he been playing good golf? He played nice in Bahamas, but like, has he been grinding? Has he been doing his thing? Like, what do you like to think of when you think of like guys who are playing well to end the season, but typically don't play that well? Are you going to keep thinking that they're going to bring it through, or is that momentum gone? And then the other way around, guys that play typically very well, and then as they wore down, their skill levels kind of diminished, and are they going to be back again? So
Byron, I'm about to give you a trade secret, man. You do this long enough, you just learn. This is, what I do with that? Whatever fits the narrative, brother. Whatever fits the narrative. If it's freaking, no, I'm kind of kidding there, but I was talking about. I mean, if you want names, like for example, here's a guy that I'm going to choose to this week for DFS. Do you want me to do this now, or you want to wait?
No, we can.
Okay.
Roll. I think
Here's
it's
a name example that I think is going to be a pivot in DFS. I don't think he's going to be popular, and I am choosing to play him as a pivot with the zoomed out lens. Okay, so just a big picture. What has this guy done well for a long period of time? Forget what he did in the fall. I don't even remember, but I don't think it was that great. Harris English, a guy he's won this tournament in probably a stronger top heavy field with John Rahm playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's won this tournament before. But what do we know about Harris English long term? What is he good at? Iron play and putting. Which is kind of what this tournament eventually boils down to. Yeah. And while he didn't have the best fall, I can overlook it. I'm willing to overlook it as a possible pivot in DFS. Now, is there another guy that, long-term zoomed out, maybe not so great, but lit it up in the fall that I will also choose to play? Hell yeah, there is. Okay. And there's the trade secret. We just do whatever fits. I don't know. Like, I guess it's just kind of a gut feeling. I saw you post your stuff on this, which is brilliant, in the Discord about kind of like how you go about evaluating after these long breaks. And I think it's really smart. I just think it's the part of golf that makes it frustrating, but also so intriguing to try to figure out. Because honestly, I don't know that we can know, because we can't keep track on what these guys are doing in the 6 weeks. Even if they aren't doing anything, for some guys it's beneficial for, and some guys it's not, right? Some guys it's beneficial to have. This is what we learned for sure, meeting all the players that we have over the years. Mm-hmm. Some players, you want their wife there. You want their kids there. You want them there. Because it grounds them, or it centers them, or it keeps them out of trouble, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Some players, you don't, because they don't focus, or they feel torn, or whatever it may be. But you can't know that unless you know the player. So you're just guessing.
And even when you think you know the player, Tony Finau shows up in Bahamas and he's waggling his putter like a hockey stick before he's about to putt. Like,
yeah,
it's just like these golfers are psychos, you know, like they're legit psychos to go and do that for a full-time profession. People think it's fun. You got to have a certain kind of no fucks given, or
you got to kind of hate yourself,
balls to the wall nonstop to kind of grind through all that stuff, right? So like, like that's the thing. I mean, Chad was going through guys' Instagram accounts, figuring out babies and marriages, and that's a great tweet. Go follow Chad Eckert's account and find that tweet. It's fantastic. It's just, that's the kind of stuff we get into. Like, you don't do that stuff for NFL.
You can think that, you know, like, I think he saw what it was, like Cam Champ, I think, was on the one that just had a baby.
Yes.
You have no way of knowing whether that helps him or not. You know, we can talk about nappy factor. We can say, oh, this guy had a baby, and then boom, you know, perspective changed. And yeah, like golf is about kind of that strokes gain home life balance, and that like, are you good mentally? Are you, if you're a guy who you hit a bad shot and all you're doing is talking bad about yourself and negative to yourself the whole way to the next shot, and that's a problem for you. And then all of a sudden you have a kid and you realize the world doesn't revolve around your, you know, pompous, arrogant ass that you've been pampered to your whole life. And then maybe that snaps you into something new, and now you're a different player. Sure. You don't know, though, if that's happening. You may be stressed the hell out. Like if you're Cam Champ, you're like, well, what kind of status am I going to have now? I got a kid, and, you know, I don't know. Like, you don't know.
You could forget your gloves under the nappies at home. Like, you know, put the diapers on there, and the gloves get lost in the diapers. Now you're playing with one glove, your hands sweaty for the rest of the 18 holes. Like, it's that kind of stuff. Like we said, psychos, we'll see. But this is always fun. And now the fun part is we get 4 rounds of resort-style golf. So it's like, do these, like, who's showing up to actually even try, you know, like that kind of stuff. So we shall see. And I think, you know, that's a great way to move into the next segment here, which is going to be called Back or Nine. Either you're going to back a guy I give you, or the other person you have to say Nein to, you know, as in German, no. So I think it's going to be a fun little segment we're going to do here. Are you even in the mood, DB, to even take a look at Scotty Shiffler at 6.5, 6-1 to win this tournament?
Listen, man, I'm the author of DB's Big Balls betting card for a reason. Okay, so this would be a 9 for me. Yeah. This is a no-go. I don't bet favorites at golf tournaments. I just don't. And I do think Shiffler, you know, I think he finished like 6th out of 20 in the field in strokes gained putting when he won the Hero. He was positive 3 out of 4 rounds at the Hero, which is something that, you know, we all are going to be looking out for. Does the good putter continue for him? Because the ball striking year was second to only Tiger, you know, historically amazing. So maybe it makes sense. But in a tournament that can turn into kind of a putting contest, I can easily pass at 6.5 to 1.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And how I go about structuring my betting card is I stick at 7 times return. So he's like too expensive. I can't even bet him because like he's just, and then he's going to finish second. He's going to lose half a stroke putting and ball strike the crap out of it.
You're going to be like, why didn't I see that coming? Like,
yeah, exactly. So I'd rather have a whole bunch of other guys in the mix. And I think it's a good little, you know, let's talk about Patrick Cantley. Like you can tell, we haven't said these names for 6 weeks. Patrick Cantley and Xander Schauffele, the 2 disgusting brothers, the 2 boys, you know, that can tilt people's faces off.
Yeah.
Back or Nine, Cantley and Xander. Got to pick one. You can't pick the other. Not who you're going to bet. You can share if you bet them or not, but you got to pick one or the other for each thing.
If you're talking outrights, I'd be out on both, but I am going to bet Xander at a top 10, maybe a top 5. I still don't know that I trust either one of them to like close the door yet. Although we just talked about how high variance golf is. And these guys played so well last year and they didn't get a lot of juice out of how well they played. And that could all flip this year. These guys could go bananas, right? And play basically the same. But Xander's floor here at Kapalua year after year seems higher. Maybe he comes into this more ready than Cantlay does. Maybe Cantlay's distracted with some of this PGA nonsense.
Yeah.
So I would rather take Xander here in basically any format.
Okay. So the reason we're doing this is if someone's watching and they want to bet either Patrick or Xander, like you would say lean Xander, right? Like that's the way you'd go. And then obviously because this is how things work, I would lean Cantlay. I just don't think Xander's got a winning fiber in his body. Like he's kind of just lost that killer mentality. It's like he's just every time he finds himself in a situation where he really has to clutch up when he's in the lead and needing to do it, he just hasn't been doing it. Like he's one of the top putters from 5 to 15 feet or something like that. And then you see him brick after brick at the Ryder Cup when it matters most. That kind of stuff to me just is infuriating. He's had 7 consecutive top 20s in majors. His best finish has been a T10. Like he's the definition of incredible mediocrity. It's like, what are we doing here? Like he just doesn't want to be in the mix. And then when he's way out of it, he can shoot a 60, in my opinion. Like that's when he shines best, when he's backs against the wall and no one believes in him kind of situation. But he never backs himself when he absolutely needs to win it. Like all of those tournaments he's won were like kind of random, in my opinion. He had a hot run there and was great, but since then, not so much. Cantley's similar situation. The only fairway he missed at the FedEx St. Jude was the water ball he hit in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like Cantlay's been closer. But I mean, that's why I hedged and said I wouldn't bet either one of them outright. Like I just think that the floor for Xander here, seemingly so far, has been better. Yeah,
no, I agree. Xander's been incredibly consistent, so I think a top 20 bet or a top 10, I think at this event you'll have to lean into that. So we'll kind of keep scooting down the model. For those of you checking this out on YouTube, this is my model I try and use to determine, just get a screenshot of what kind of golfer the person will be the best. Like, do you think the course is going to really suit off the tee the most? So this is going to get 20% extra weighting for off the tee. But I think distance to me is essential this week. So guys that have good distance, you can see where is that their strength? Is that their weakness? And you can kind of get a nice bird's eye view of that using this thing. So I've just got that up, and then it averages all these out that I think are essential to the week. And then I have the odds on the right hand side. I didn't explain that before we got going, but I've got myself a Wyndham Clark. No, let's go with Eric Cole and JT Poston. I know we're jumping all the way down the odds board here, but we got 2 guys. Eric Cole way up in the model. JT Poston also sitting a little bit 11th here for me. Two guys the model really likes. Eric Cole a little favored, but 2 guys that have been flirting with victory, and especially Eric Cole, right? He's been top 5 in these fall events like crazy. He's a great golfer right now. Back Eric Cole or Nein, JT Poston, either or.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man, because I like both of these guys. Cole ranks 5th in my model, Poston 9th.
Yes.
I think that one of the things we've heard over the years is Kapalua does take a little experience because of some of the undulations, the way the greens kind of feed into certain hole locations, funny angles, funny lies, wind, all that kind of stuff. We've heard from caddy friends of ours that a couple laps around Kapalua can do you some good.
Okay.
I think with that being said, and with JT being a multiple winner on the PGA Tour, the putter can be nuclear hot. The putter and the irons were both hot as the year ended last year. I mean, he's hit it great. I think I trust if I'm talking an outright, man, I think I want JT, and I found him around 100 to 1 earlier today. I don't know where he is now, but I think I'll take JT over. I think I'll back JT and 9 Cole there.
I've just never been a JT guy, and that's the thing, like you say, like the subconscious stuff that you find yourself having these biases.
Oh yeah.
We all have. He's been great. Yeah, he's been great, but I just never find myself on him, so I'd probably be I am leaning Eric Cole in this situation. So I'll be backing him and saying 9 to JT. The reason I went with Eric, he's 66 to 1 at Bet Rivers if you can get the each ways, which I really think I'm starting to lean into more as well, because I'm so sick and tired of getting the guy second and then
it's nice that
getting
you can
rewarded
do that
for it, so I've kind of leaned into that a bit more, and I feel like he's the prime person to do that for. Like he's not. I almost typed in the Nuthead Discord there. I don't think he's going to win this tournament, but it's sure as shit going to finish top 5 probably. Like I have a really good feeling about that. At 60.
I mean, it suits him so well. He can spray it off the tee, which he tends to do, and you can do that here. Irons and putter are great. And I do think there's, we talk about narrative. You open talking about the narrative of like guys coming off a break. I think there's a little bit of a narrative here. If you're Eric Cole and you played as well as you did all year, and you find yourself now at Kapalua, in the first signature event of the year, $20 million purse, 59 guys, no cut, best players in the world. Like you got to be like, damn, like I earned this thing. Like he's got to feel like, I don't think he's going to come into it like wide-eyed and like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, because he's been doing it so consistently. Like I think he's going to come in hungry. I think he could come in here hungrier than guys like Cantlay or Schauffele. Now, does that mean that his talent can match those guys? Maybe. But I think if you're talking about like who's going to come in here hungry or like really wanting to show up and not just be like, oh, I made it to Kapalua again, cool, I'll just collect my cash and enjoy the vacation. I don't think that's Eric Cole. I think he comes in hungry and ready to go. I think there's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm. I was looking up some fantasy stuff for him, for a draft, and 29 events last year. This guy's he's a freak.
And that's what's documented on the PGA Tour. He played those damn mini tour events. He played at least 2 of those.
Wins them, gives the money back to charity. Like, just incredible. Like, he's incredible. And he's what, 39? Is he?
No, I think he's out. I think he's 30. I think he's between you 30. And me.
Okay.
I think
he's close. He's in the 30s. I mean, as a rookie in your 30s, incredible stuff. It's really sensational to see what he's been up to. So I love what he's doing. And I think for him to have had this long of a break from competitive golf, he's got to be chomping at the bit to absolutely go off.
Oh, yeah. If he had a break at all. I mean, for competitive golf, yes. But I mean, if there's anybody in the field, if you had a gun to your head, put money on the guy was working in the last 6 weeks, you're like, Eric Cole.
Yes.
He did not put the clubs down after whatever, RSM, and then just not pick them up again.
Yeah, he doesn't mind at all. Eric Cole's 35. You're right. Thanks, David. There we go. Right in the middle there. So awesome stuff. There, you got it. You don't have a consensus opinion yet again from us two, so maybe we can find one between the jailbird buddies, Ricky Fowler and Wyndham Clark, sitting at 35 and 35 a pop. 2 guys who one's kind of found his way when he is in contention, kind of can hang. And to me, I did that Photoshop of Ricky with the Rocket Mortgage and it was TIO. Like that's how he won it, because like he's like almost hit in the water in regulation, then sprayed it all the way right, and then has a solid Matthew Fitzpatrick lie in the right rough there to kind of take care of business. So and then when Ricky gave up that putt at the Ryder Cup, I wanted to lose my mind to Tommy, but that's not what we're here for. But Wyndham Clark back on 9, DB.
Out of these 2, I am going to back Wyndham Clark. Or do we have agreement yet?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. I think we're in agreement, baby. Hallelujah.
I feel like, you talked about, I don't think distance is like totally necessary here, but I think super bombers on the top end of that can be very valuable here. Wyndham is there, and he can putt. Like that doesn't change. If the irons click, we're there. Ricky feels like, to me, like after he won, it just kind of feels like he just kind of gave up a little bit. I don't know that he did, but the chase, the rabbit's not, the chase is kind of over. He caught her for now, and he's like, finally don't have to answer that question anymore. I finally did it. I can relax now. And then he just hasn't done anything. So I don't know.
That Winnie the Pooh gif where he's just like laying there and he's like soul like leaves his body into the abyss. I think when Ricky like put his head back, like that's just his soul. Just like, that's me. I've come to do what I've needed to do, Daddy. Take me now. So
I've won the Rocket Mortgage.
After Colin Morikawa, one of the best iron players, just sent a wedge over the green like 15 yards too far. Just crazy stuff. So yes, I love Wyndham in this situation. I feel like anytime he finds himself in the mix, take a look at this distance column, like we were mentioning. He's got a really, really solid gets almost up to 2s. Not a lot of 2s out here on the board outside of the top 4 guys. So a lot to like when you come to the distance side of things there. And, when he finds himself in the mix, he takes care of business, like he's not as scared of the moment anymore as he used to be. So I think old Xander needs to probably go read that book that old Wyndham's been doing lately. But also Wyndham just hasn't had it, for a while now too. So it's kind of interesting. So, but if I were to bet either, it's Wyndham, but I don't want to touch either right now. Let's talk about Colin and Max, the Calcuzzies.
Oh, another
16 and 14, two interesting situations. One really good at putting, one really good with the irons. One a really impressive par 5 scorer, the other not so hot. That's Max's biggest issue. I think if he can really iron out his par 5 stuff, I just can't believe that's one of his worst traits, which doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I've got 4 of them this week. Colin or Max, back or Nein?
Oh, this is brutal.
Yes, this is what we have you here for.
Max Home has made me a lot of money. I've been on most of Max's wins, so I'm backing Max. He's a good example of a guy too that I think, going back to that like experience at Sentry, starts to add up. First time out 25th, second time out 15th, last year 3rd. And you're going to see some of that show up in the putting category, but I think a lot of that is because he knows how to approach the different locations a little better, and he just played so solid in the fall too. I mean, and I know Colin had the win, but I just trust Max a little bit more.
Yes. Like when Max, he said it. He says it himself. When he's in the mix, he's comfortable there.
He's very comfortable. Yep.
He struggles to get himself into first gear to get himself in the mix.
Yeah.
I think that's a very weird, dilemma to have. I can kind of relate in a way, like I think he's a procrastinator. You can almost say that, like you kind of do it at the last minute. Yeah, you go. So I would also lean Max. Colin to me has also found him. He did have that win, and it was out in Japan while no one's watching. I keep making these excuses for these guys I don't think are like good, but he's out in Japan, not the greatest field in the world, and he won it, So Ricky and Colin, I mean, talk about, spitting images of each other. So I don't know. I love Max. When he finds himself in contention, I feel a lot more comfortable about him. David makes a fantastic point. If you take a look at the course history side of things, Colin gets himself way up there. It's like,
Colin's played great here too. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the course history for him is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yet again, to like blow that lead to John Rahm in the way he did was just sensational too. That takes extreme talent, and I don't know. Maybe
he chunked one and he bladed one. I think
in the same hole, dude.
Pat had him outright, and he was sweating that one big. And that was rough.
Yes, I think my buddy from flag hunting, Ian, had him as well, and we did the show like this, and we labeled it the colonoscopy. Because it was just painful for everybody that was like sitting there watching this stuff, just brutal. So he was tough to get into the mix with there, but I would lean Max if I'm in that department. But you have got Max right all the time, and I have had Keegan Bradley finish second to Max Homer both times, like the freaking Wells Fargo and then the Farmers. I had Keegan both freaking times, and then I go to Max the following week at the Genesis, and he loses to Rahm and comes second. Like that was the kind of year I had last year. So I'm looking forward to that not happening anymore. And as a result, I'm just leaving Max entirely, like I said in our Discord there. Not doing Max at all this year.
God, I think you're going to regret that. I think you're going to regret that.
I will, but I'm just wasting my money betting him. I'm like, when I'm on him, he doesn't win. I don't know why.
No, we all have guys like that for sure. I think Max has proven he's a killer.
Yes. No, I could not agree more. I think he's
maybe you just need to bet him live. Maybe you just need to be content betting him live.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But that means I'd
have
have
to hit him at 14 or 30 or something at a major. But like if he gets off to the start and he's in contention, he can close. You just accept the fact you're not going to get the victory lap with half of Twitter at 14-1. Yeah. But you get him at like 3-1, and that's how the budding relationship starts. You know what I mean? You round first base with Max. You don't get to go all the way. Okay. Then after that, you kind of start to feel him up later.
Okay. Hey, I can handle that. I've been out of the game for a while, so it will be nice to maybe, get my flirting toes wet again and see where
South
that takes me.
African charm, man.
And he's just come from South Africa, so I can
guys are known
him
for
with a few
he fell in
syrupy
love
South
with
African slangies. Yeah, he said it was fun times, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That golf course is
Maybe that's
beautiful,
what you
I'll say that.
needed. Maybe that could be it.
That's the connection. Yes. I love it. Okay, cool. Cool. Thanks for talking me off the ledge there, DB. That was very important,
We're going to help each other like this. You're going to help me too all year if we're going to do this.
Almost backed myself into a corner I couldn't get out of there. So speaking about getting into a corner and not really getting out of one, let's talk about Cameron Young.
Yeah, I got to take
guys. Yeah. Second caddy now in the space of what?
Yeah.
Since the match play.
Yeah.
It just, everything seems perfect for his baseline game. Like I think this is a great option to make that argument where he's got that incredible ability and maybe just a bit of a break because he's got the baby. I never knew he had a baby.
Yeah. And he's got a couple or something.
Yeah. The guy's an old soul and he's just incredible when it comes to like this. He's the leading distance carrier in this field. And now that when he had Paul Tesori on the bag for the first go around, he almost won that match play.
Yep.
And then so new caddy, whoever it is, I think it's going to just be a little bit of an edge, a little jolt into the system and see what he can get up to. So there was a rogue 50 out there on him on Bed Rivers this morning. So I haven't updated it since, but he's out there. And then Sahith the Gala, also 80-1. I don't know what these numbers are currently, but back on 9, Cameron Young or Sahith the Gala.
This one's easy, and I don't love it. I don't love either option, but this is an easy 9 for me on Cameron Young and a back for Sahith.
Okay.
I think I am not going to force Cameron Young. I'm not going to force it. You talked about how he's an old soul. He was kind of a late bloomer, right? Like, it wasn't like he was some stud freak in college or some guy that we had all this expectation for on the Korn Ferry Tour, like a Ludwig. He didn't even get he just passed it, right? He won back-to-back weeks on the Korn Ferry Tour. He got hot for those 2 weeks, right? Vaulted himself into the PGA Tour conversation. Not taking anything away from the dude. He's almost won a major or two. He's had great performances in majors. Okay. He's definitely, I had him and Sam Burns on the outright card at the match play.
Oh, baby. Oh,
so
baby.
It was a beautiful day for me.
Wow.
Obviously, a number of things could have gone his way that day, and he wins, and we're not even talking about it. So I understand all of that.
Yeah.
But I also think that the whole community was at a fever pitch when he burst onto the scene. It's not like he's coming from this pedigree, right? So now that he's in this, he's in this like situation where we're like, God, there's a lot of question marks. Like he sucks at this, and he's caddy situation, and why can't he win? But we all want to force it, and I don't know that he's deserving of us forcing it yet. And so I know he has a skill set, hitting the ball a mile and all that stuff. I think I'm fine if I miss it. If I miss him and he wins here 50, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. DB was wrong. I'll be out. But in a birdie fest, which a lot of his good finishes, not at birdie fest, he did good at the John Deere, I think. Other than that, like, there's a lot of harder golf course where you don't have to make a lot of putts. You got to make a lot of putts this week. Like, you can hit it a mile, but you better make putts. I think I would rather take my chances with Sahith, spraying it off the tee, still hitting it plenty far, hoping that the irons get cued in, dialed in a little bit, and drop some putts.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I love Sahith as well. The spraying it off the tee thing really works in his favor. Yeah. I think that's going to really be his thing. And then if you take a look at the putting, it's just like, that's his ace in his sleeve. And he can hold him in from anywhere, So it does bother me that he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to flex his around the green game here, which is where he gets a lot of his, strokes. But I think long range putts are his thing too. That's basically the same thing. So I'm also in on Sahith. I think if I were to pick two, it would be Sahith the Gala. I do like the Cameron Young angle of the caddy in like complete vacuum and isolation. That's the reason I'm betting him. And,
some people are going to look at maybe the majority are going to look at the Paul Tesori thing as a bad thing. And It could be a problem. I mean, we know Paul, like everybody knows Paul. He's the nicest guy in the world. Great caddy. I'm trying to figure out how it didn't work, but sometimes it's a personality thing. Like Paul's a talkative guy. He's very outgoing. He's a man of faith. I don't know how Cameron is with all that stuff. Like maybe it was just a personality thing, and maybe this will be a great thing to get a new guy to walk down the fairway with, whoever it is. So that's one way to look at it. I just think we give Cam Young this killer. We give him like kind of a killer credit that he hasn't really earned on the PGA Tour. So we see this number and we're like, oh, we got to bet him at that number. That's crazy. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like he's not, you know,
it's a valid reason, you know, like I think off we go and he's either going to win this thing or it's not going to be close. You know, like I think it's going to be one of those situations. So we'll see what cooks. Is there anyone before we jump into our next hacking it in Hollywood situation? Is there anyone else you want to chat about before we kind of get out of here? Any names you want to give a few extra?
You definitely hit most of mine. I talked through a couple more on the show, but I think you hit a lot of my favorites. Yeah. I think you hit most of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So we'll leave it at that, and see what cooks thereafter. So next segment, I'm very excited about this, and I don't know, it could be a complete failure, it could be whatever. It's hacking it in Hollywood. You know, just you get to meet your guests, meet the personalities on Twitter and all the content creators, and kind of get a feel for their favorite TV series.
Yeah,
you know, I think it's fun. Like I fall asleep to like Frasier. I've watched that show like subconsciously.
Dang, you fall asleep with the TV on?
Oh yeah, I have to. My brain, too much stuff going on. So has to be on there. It's like a
my old age. In my old age, I have to stop looking at any bright lights after about 5:30 p.m. or I won't be able to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I just listen because I can picture the scene in my head, you know, like while I'm listening.
God.
So it's it's weird. Very weird situation.
For you, man. We're built different. I did that as a kid. I mean, I would fall asleep listening to Sports Center as a kid, but boy, I can't. I would never sleep.
It's weird. It's weird.
Oh, good.
So to see how weird we are and how different we are, we each picked 5 golfers. It can be live golfers. It can be retired golfers, you know, popular golfers around the world on the PGA Tour to cast in The Office. That's the show you chose. A great OG staple of any television series out there, you know. Phenomenal stuff. One of my favorite shows too. So we're going to decide who are we casting as Woo, and it's going to be a blast. So first up, Andy Bernard. You decided to go with the Bubster. Bubba Watson, casted as the Nard Dog, Andy Bernard. Talk to me through your reasoning.
Yeah. You know, I think contrary to popular opinion, and maybe this is why I shouldn't be Andy Bernard, but you know, Andy Bernard's likable. I mean, like everybody liked Andy, right? He was a little annoying at times, but everybody liked him. I think Bubba's probably a nice guy. I walked 9 holes in the ropes with him at a practice round with Charles Howell at a live event 2 years ago. Very nice. Good dad, you know. Yeah. I think he's a kind of a sensitive guy, a lot like Andy, and he wants everybody to like him. And Andy wanted everybody to like him, you know. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So, you know, it's not possible because you know, you could be the nicest person in the world, somebody's going to not like you. But he wants everybody to like him.
Yeah.
Just like Andy. But because of some of his things, I think probably taken best in small doses because he can get a little thirsty at times with his, you know, social media stuff and the Bubba claws and the weird, the pink stuff and the $2.4 million watch at the side on the front row of whatever that game was the other night, NBA game. And Andy's, you know, always singing and he's doing his thing. He's just wants to
Cornell, you know,
Cornell. And yeah, he wants everybody to look at him, you know? So yeah, I thought Bubba was fitting for Andy.
I think so too. I think it's a great match. I think the personality traits are the most striking between the two of them. And at the same time, they can go from 0 to 100 pretty quickly, you know, like
true, yeah,
if things go and not from a bad way. Andy's mostly bad, but Bubba, like, put him in the trees and give him a gap as small as the teeth between Louis' teeth, you know, the gap there.
Yeah.
He'll slice a A good old
whatever
ball
you
through
want.
there with whatever golf club, however you want it going. Like he's just incredible and has this ability to just wow you, out of nowhere. So I think it's a hole in one there for that first matchup we've got between Andy and Bubba. My next title is Dustin Johnson as Kevin Malone.
Okay.
If you think about the presses, DJ, well, just here to really get my thing on, and I'm just, I don't care about what's going on. And Kevin
very flat.
cannot speak faster than, I mean, if he needed to call 911 in an emergency, I don't think he changes the way he speaks.
If your life is depending on Kevin's calling into 911 to tell them what's going on, you're dead.
You're dead. You're absolutely dead. And if he's walking with a pot of beans, you're even deader because that's the thing. He's this clumsy ass guy. And to me, it was the biggest resemblance between the bean incident where he just absolutely spills these beans all over the freaking floor was when DJ was at the US Open where he had a like an 11-foot putt to win it for eagle and then 3-jacked it.
Was that a Chambers? Was that a Chambers? Yeah.
Yes. To me, that was just the exact same situation. Just walking with this awesomely cooked pot of beans and then just beans everywhere, Jordan Spieth's magic beans came in and he won the damn thing. Was that where Spieth won?
Yep.
And, to me, it was just, I mean, the guy didn't play at Augusta because he slipped walking in socks.
Yeah.
Like just clumsy.
Debatable, yes.
But then, debatable. And then the other thing is like he's this nonchalant, slow buzz kind of guy, but you put him on a golf course, you put a wedge in his hand, he's sensational. Like one of the greatest talents of our time, really. And Kevin, when he's talking about donuts, right, or pie slices, one of the food items, I can't remember exactly which one it is. He's a math whiz. Like he could do any sort of mathematical equation with pie, I think. And to me, that's DJ, like when the time comes to shine, he's got that superior talent and it's his thing,
Yeah. When you see the two next to each other in a picture, it's jarring and you're thinking, how's he going to make this? How's he going to do that? And you did it. You did it nicely. I get it.
Yeah. You got to reach here and there, but that's his thing. All right. Next up for you. Ryan Howard, the temp / business tycoon, back to temp, and Minwoo Lee. I think a phenomenal pairing, a great side-by-side here. Did my best to get the ones with the shades for Ryan there.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I think I'm probably most proud of this one. I think this one's most dead on because Ryan's like, he was the hot, he's the hot new thing, kind of, he was kind of under the radar until he was on the radar. And then he was like, whoa, this guy's coming, and hot new thing, good with social media. He was the technology guy that Michael relied on. Everybody in the office relied on. Minwoo is just cooking on social all the time. He's dropping bangers on his Instagram reels and TikToks, full of good ideas, good at his job, and most likely to climb the ladder and dethrone those at the top, but also could just like really spike and then, fall flat on his face at some point.
Yeah. Sell fake paper on the internet and just completely.
He could be, he could be like a top podcaster or broadcaster in like 5 years if the golf game, because he's going to be such a good content person. But no,
the Australian Smiley.
I don't think that's going to happen. But I feel like Minwoo and Ryan were pretty fitting.
No, I think that's great. I don't have anything more to add to that. I think the potential is unparalleled, between the two of them there. So absolutely going to roll with that one. My next set is Dwight Schrute, Tommy Fleetwood. Dwight's always been shooting for the stars, always trying to be the regional manager, always trying. Tommy, he's always the assistant to the winner of the tournament. He's just, he's just the perennial bridesmaid. He's the same kind of hairstyle in a way.
I'm going to lose so much more money on Tommy this year too. And I'm ready to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it.
Tommy top 10.
Not this week, but it will happen.
Yeah, just roll him out for top 10s, and I think that's his bread and butter. I think he's incapable of winning tournaments right now. So, but maybe he catches lightning in a bottle somehow, and off we go. But it's just the assistant to regional manager and the assistant to whoever wins the tournament, I feel like was the strongest contrast there, personality wise. I think there's not much more resemblance there outside of their results. So I don't know. That's basically how I went with that one, because
I like it.
Perennial bridesmaid. You also went with Dwight, and I think your choice was much better than mine, and it was Bryson DeChambeau, baby.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things here, just flowing thoughts that I had. Strangest guy in the room, wherever they go, but also maybe one of the most intelligent, high IQ, useful idiot. Probably a tattletale, even as a grown man. I kind of felt that about both of them. Thinks that they're a lot funnier than they really are. I don't think this is the same for Bryson, but at least for a lot of his early professional careers, both live with other men. Dwight, shout out to Mose, and Bryson had like his YouTube teeny bopper house that he lived in for a minute, especially COVID. Neighbors like moving in, filming him and shit. It was weird.
Yeah, that was a wild time.
Yeah, neither one of them handled people picking on them very well. We saw both with Bryson and Brooks, and obviously Dwight and Jim. Rattled easy when things are not going their way. Ants, I kind of think ants probably also bothered Dwight. I don't remember an episode specifically, but that was an unwritten episode that maybe they didn't get to or something.
Yep.
I believe both kiss ass to those in power, trying to be the teacher's pet at every
DB
corner.
Jesus, preach,
Bryson. Like if you heard Bryson on his recent interview with the good guy, he talked about Yasser. Like Yasser was like his new dad. I mean, I know Bryson lost his dad, which is sad, but like he talked about Yasser like just beaming. And I'm like, okay. Difficult to work with, as you're never going to have a more intelligent thought than the one that they are about to have right after you.
Always right.
Yeah, I think that one.
I mean, I know you were very proud of Ryan Minwoo, but I think this is
the one.
I mean, Jesus, dude, you had seven connections there that were easily all relevant. Like one was as good as the next. My buddy Terrence says these justifications are pure gold. Like that to me is just incredible. Like
I have studied Bryson. I've gotten a lot of hate for it because, and I'm like, dude, I'm in the content game. I don't know what you want me to do, but like I studied Bryson. I've watched more film on Bryson DeChambeau doing stuff off the golf course and on the golf course, but off the golf course than a lot of people. And I have a very specific opinion of what I think of who I think Bryson DeChambeau is. I could be dead wrong, but I've put in a lot of film time. COVID 2020, I watched so much useless Bryson YouTube lives and Instagrams, and I can't even tell you. Now my newest target is DJ Khaled. I've kind of moved on from Bryson.
Okay.
So now I do it with DJ Khaled. I've watched a lot of film on Khaled. I hate that guy. I hate that guy for golf. But I watch a lot of film so that I can hate on him because I'm in content. Like it's just what I do. I don't go around hating people regularly, but like it's just what we do.
I mean, at some point, DJ is going to be playing in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, right? And then you have got more information about this guy than anyone else on the planet. And then you found your niche, for that tournament. So it's weird. People do weird stuff. And like we said, these golfers are psychos. And I think Bryson in particular is, I mean, Jesus.
Dude, he's a unique cat.
He is ultra unique. And then I think you go from Bryson to somebody that is not even remotely in the same realm.
I did not see this coming.
It is parallel universes as like as far from each other as possible.
Oh my God.
Meredith Palmer, the perennial flasher / vodka connoisseur of the office.
Yes, dude. This is perfect.
Harry Hicks, the big rig, perennial flasher, vodka connoisseur of the Tito's world.
Both just dying to show their tits.
Just dying to show their tits. And this was one of multiple instances where I could find
neither set of tits very many people interested in seeing, but they still really want you to see them.
Correct.
Yeah.
They are not attractive. They hardly ever the focus of whatever's going on. But boy, oh boy, if you just give them half a bottle of vodka, they'll tell you how they're feeling about whatever they're feeling.
Do you know who Ron White is, the comedian?
No.
Okay, he's a country like redneck. I think he's a redneck kind of guy.
Okay.
Hilarious comedian, but he always had a joke. He's like, guys, I mean, we love tits, and he's like, listen, it could be the ugliest set of tits ever. It could be, just think of the worst Waffle House waitress you've ever seen, right? And if you've seen any pair of tits and she wants to show you hers, if you've seen one pair, you're dying to see the next pair, regardless. Even if it's hers, right? And that's how Meredith and Harry look at it.
And we are thankful for that. That's.
I should have asked you if we could talk like this on your show. I didn't ask you.
It's part of the segment. It's towards the end of it. It's totally fine. It's New Year's Day.
It's New Year's Day, and we're podcasting during like college football playoff.
Exactly. I mean,
we're doing whatever we want to say.
Yes, there's no need to hold anything back here, just like these two, and it's completely fine. Nothing about this is offensive. It's we've blurred out what we needed to, and so we move on. And if there's people rolling their eyes at this thing like Stanley Hudson does, it is what it is. Don't have a heart attack. Just leave the pod. If you don't like titties, it's fine. Let's talk about Stanley, who you have as Tom Hoagie's doppelganger.
Yeah. I'm a big Stanley fan, and had Tom on the show. He's a good guy, funny guy, but like, to me, Tom would way rather be gambling or doing anything other than playing golf at times. At least he really sells that. You know what I mean? He really sells it. And when I had him on the show, like, we're talking golf stuff, he's like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm doing, just answering the questions. And I'm trying not to ask him the same questions he gets asked all the time, but it's still golf, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember I had him on in the fall of 2022, right before football season started. I bring up college football futures, and the whole thing changes. Then he's like Meredith. He's like he's excited. He's talking. He's up. He's ready to go. It's like literally Stanley talking about anything other than work and going to the casinos or going to the beach or his mistress or whatever. So I just feel like Hoagie just does his job, but just enough to get by while looking like the last thing he wants to do on earth is his job. He'd rather be gambling than drinking. So
yeah, if Hoagie and Stanley found themselves at a craps table down in Florida.
Oh, they hit it.
I mean,
and neither one
the absolute best life.
Both of them equally terrible at basketball.
I have no idea. How'd you know this about Hoagie?
I don't. I'm just guessing. Okay. He's a white guy from Minnesota, isn't he? I mean, and he's like 5'10". So
he's 5'10", and
deductive reasoning there.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. No, great.
And one of the greatest Office moments ever that happens on literally the second episode, I think. The warehouse versus office basketball game where Michael Scott thinks Stanley is the secret weapon, and he comes out and he's like literally smacking the ball like he's never done it before. And Michael Scott's no, God, no. It's the best. I love that.
Did I stutter? Dude, he does not hold back either. The heart attacks on the show.
Yeah.
He holds deep resentment for a lot of things. And
yeah.
He's a national treasure to us all too. All right. Final picks for each of us.
Okay.
And it's both. Oh, we got two more. My man, Jim Halpert, as Phil Mickelson. No, this is you.
This is me. Yeah.
Jim Halpert, I'm giving you back-to-backers here, with Phil Mickelson as his doppelganger. Hit me. Give me the sweet music.
I think this one. I don't think this is pretty self. This was easy for me. Smarter than everyone else, including the boss. Clearly, Phil's proven that, whether you like him or you don't.
Yes.
First of all, Jay Monahan is Michael Scott, 100%. Like, what are we even doing? Jay Monahan is the closest thing to an Office character in real life of any of these we've looked at, even better than Bryson and Dwight. What a complete incompetent buffoon he has turned out to be. Anyway, Phil's way smarter than the boss, just like Jim. Peacock's around when the opportunity is right, as talented as anyone in the room, and just also a jokester and an instigator. So I think that one's pretty.
It's spot on. It's absolutely spot on. Very charismatic. You know, I think either could sell Iceland Eskimo, and I think obviously Jim still holding a much higher regard and reputation than Phil, but Jim hasn't quite made it into his late gambling years yet. So
yeah,
I think it's solid. Think it's a very applicable pick. And the funny thing is, we either go with my Jim Halpert or my Phil Mickelson. Which one are we going to go with next?
I want to know your Phil Mickelson.
My Phil? Michael Scott.
Oh, what?
No. Right? Yeah.
No.
Both are incredibly charismatic too. Both are incredibly bad at handling their money. Like Michael Scott is always making bad investments, taking the wrong side of a gamble. And to me, that's just it. Like, that's the epitome of this comparison. And I feel like by the time they find themselves in this deep end, not knowing how they got there, they're asking themselves, that should never have been the case. Like, how can this bet have gone so wrong? Yet everybody around them has seen what can happen, betting on Ryder Cups, betting on downsizing, that kind of stuff. Spending the money that you get about the promotion before you have it, aka moving to live, those kind of correlations mainly got to do with money and the way they handle their finances and decision making.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, I think.
But I think the people in the comments need to say whether Jay Monahan or Phil is the better Michael Scott.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get the people talking. Let us know. We've got one more comparison for myself, and we need to know which one's the better one, Jay Monahan or Phil. Michael Scott. Give it to us right now. But in the meantime, my Jim Halpert, Max Homer, I mean, just everyone's golden boy. Really, at the end of the day, I mean,
except yours.
Sorry,
except yours. You can't get him right.
I know, but I still love.
We're going to change that 2024.
Yeah, no, you've given me the roadmap. He's visited my home country.
Yeah,
we've now both been on South African soil. We both played the golf course that he played at multiple times. The Gary Player Country Club down there, great golf course. He's just, I mean, could this guy do anything that would make you not like him? Right? It's just Max is just the golden boy of the PGA. Every now and then, gets through struggles, but he's the most candid, the most transparent. The guy's out there just really giving you the bottom of his heart every single time he's out there. And to me, I just feel like they're just exactly how it should be. Obviously Jim landing with Pam, just, childhood sweetheart type situation. And I think Maxie's been the same situation. Just a great dad, great boyfriend, great husband, great for the environment that everyone's working around them in, just everything about it's just good for the brand. So those are the comps.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well done. It's fun.
Yeah. We gave it our first go, and we'll see if it
shaking the rust off, if
it holds any water going forward. But boys, we made it through an hour and 3 minutes of this thing on both of our deathbeds after the New Year's parties and multiple journeys. I came from Jersey Shore, and it's been quite rough. So thank you for coming on, DB.
Yeah.
Give the people one more time the Nut Hut, all that jazz about we've got some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, man. You need to get the Model Maniac community in the Back Nine Bets fans and followers in the Discord with us. It's a good time. It's the best golf community in Discord, if you ask me. There is a free version. You're kind of lame if you're only in the free version, because I mean, you don't get privileged to all the goodies, so you don't get to see Meredith's thingies for free. So if you want to see all of it, you do got to pay up for it, but it's worth it.
And to me, I will validate it's been a marvelous experience, and it's like a full-on functioning anthill of threads and different topics and just characters after character.
There are some characters, and not all of them are in there yet. Not all of them. They're all coming. Yeah,
that's probably best, because to have met them all at the same time, I think would have been completely overwhelming. Because just the initial visit, when I popped in there the first time was, lots of fun guys in there. So Thanks for popping on, my bud.
We got a couple gals in there too, though. We got a couple.
Oh yes,
females.
yes.
In there.
No, we got
That's
some
nice.
librarians and the
Yeah,
whole
dude.
works, man.
Mhm.
Shout out to the girls.
Yeah.
The Merediths of the world. And yeah, we'll be on camera together a lot more this year. Looking forward to that. And we've got our first tournament of 2024. Who's going to win this thing? Give me one winner to leave the people with.
You know what? I think I'm gonna give you a bomb. It would not be on brand if I didn't give you a bomb.
Okay, hit me with the bomb.
We talked about him. I think JT Poston's gonna come out swinging and win this thing.
Okay, the Postman.
Yeah, I think the Postman delivers. Irons stay dialed. Putter is pure. He gets it done.
All right, I love it. I'll leave you with Patrick Cantley as a chalk square, my ice man, the Paddy Ice guy. It's time for him to get himself across the line there. So
it's bound to happen.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. Boys and girls, thank you so much for tuning in. Saw that chat was popping and we had tons of people watching. So we'll catch you guys next time. We'll be doing our Rotoballer show in the next hour or two, hour and a half. Me and Spencer doing the Rotoballer PGA show. It's going to be fun to get him and I on the show together too. I'm looking forward to that, and that'll be in the next 90 minutes. So till then, we'll catch you all next time, and have a good week, friends. Cheers.
See ya.